Páni, púšťame druhú časť segmentu prezývaného aj no čas. To bolo tesné. Dáta mi končia, 5.57, 24. A na to koľko mám? Mám 320 mega. Oh shit. No nič. No.
I'm quite disappointed with some of the players, and because I understand, because I've been players as well, they're gonna come after, why I'm not playing, but when I give you a chance, take it, right? If you ask me, I would love to have more players, to be honest, because we have injuries, we have important players left, and we have to use the players or the full squad. Sometimes it's not easier. Of course, today, like me, since I arrived, I try to give the opportunity to each of them, but at some point, to be honest, because I'm a very honest person, I'm quite disappointed with some of the players, and because I understand, because I've been players as well, they're gonna come after, why I'm not playing, but when I give you a chance, take it, right? And after that, if you are putting me on bench, don't complain, that's what I'm, angry about, because sometimes I understand, but the players have to understand me as well. I was player. I understand what it means, right? When you have a chance, grab it. If you don't have it, after that, it's difficult. But if you, of course, the clubs are working very, very hard to get some reinforcement, right? Because now we lack a bit of bench, but of course the players are there. Them offensively, because how you see me, my philosophy is more based on offensive. I have a lot of players defensive, but the best player has it. Nino, Tigran, Andras are all forward, right? And the defender have it all are good. But sometimes I can check, but it's gonna be a miracle. Change it, put a defender, striker, and score goals. It's gonna be perfect. But anyway, we have to deal with it, right? That's my job, to find the solution to make this team well balanced and make sure when we get chances we score. That's the thing. I'm quite disappointed with some of the players.
Ukazujte mi týchto chorých hajzlov.
Hey fellow Vault Dwellers, it's Angry Turtle, and today we're taking a quick look on everything that's coming to Fallout 76 with September update. It is intended to be a small patch, but in
Jo, napiť, ideme respektíve napiť. To by sa napiť pánovi Štolverkovi, ale hore na skrini. Tam je hore zarezaný. Dobre. Dobre.
in my opinion, it's much bigger than the previous one we got with Infestation that's supposed to be the big one. So things seems reversed. This one incoming is way bigger, even though it should be small. First cool thing, like in your personal terminal, we are getting a stats page now, which is super fun. Like you can open any type of tab and you can see quests completed. I think it counts daily students. The numbers are huge. Logs speak, terminals hack, mutes lunch. It looks like I did lunch 326 years. So there's a lot of stats that you can take a look in-game form, which is cool. That's one little very cool change. Then there is still work about infestations and improvement to it. It should be much better from the next patch. Bosses less spongy, and at the same time, first you need to clear regular mobs so everyone can participate as boss spawns later. The zones are a little bit smaller than they were in the past, and they have new visuals and so on. All good here. Another cool change about Ohio and all the new area, when you go and do a headhunt, there will be a chance of a special uninvited guest. So your headhunt will have a town cool twist. Then the biggest part of the updates, all the weapon fun. One planned update and changes. Full rework of Violator. I did a video about it already. Much cooler weapon after those changes. I'm not saying that it will fire colder projectiles, it will just be more fun. A lot more options. So you can watch that if you didn't. As well, Railway Rifle will get reworked with a lot of new attachments. I do plan to do a full video on the Railway Rifle. And probably the biggest change of them all that I personally weight myself the most, all the unique named weapons, unique legendary, will be fully customizable. So you can change legendary effects on them as you please, and they all receive a special effect. It's different on different weapons. I don't know if they will still receive any changes as we are closer to the next update, or are those final. I'm still waiting for a Friday possible public test server update, as I'm expecting this coming Friday to be like the final tweaks and balances for unique named weapons. So after that, I will cover all of them and all the coolest effects that are coming. As they did change. If you watch my previous videos, special effects on the boomstick, it was different one. Now it fires 2 additional projectiles. Banka Buster, that was changed a couple times already. So they are looking for a sweet spot. What they supposed to be on those special effects. And special effects, this icon here, this is the effect that will be attached to the named weapon, and you will not be able to change this one, but you will be able to change all the legendary effects, including adding a 4-star to it. So if there is no 4-star, you will be able to add a 4-star to a weapon. If there already is a 4-star, you will be able to change it as you please. Obviously, the cost will be increased. I was talking about it, but I think it's a fair balancing change, so we can change those effects. It's much more expensive and as on a regular legendaries. But then, those are so much better than regular legendaries with those special effects. Some of them are weaker, some of them are stronger, to depend on the weapon. And this is like interesting one now on Daisy Cutter. 20% damage for every 1000 radiation resistance. So you can be stacking radiation resistance to increase your damage with mini nukes. And you may be now like, oh no, now everyone will be running mini nukes and I will not see a thing on the event. And why not? That's another super cool change that's coming. I did showcase that in dedicated video with a lot of examples. But if we go into the settings, under Display tab, you will now find Other Player Explosion Scale. So you can customize all those explosions from other players up to almost invisible when you swing it completely to the left. Or if you move it completely to the right, that's how it is now. Like this setting will be like you have it now. Move it to the left, will be almost invisible, all those other player explosions. It does not affect your own projectiles. Therefore, if you want to enjoy your own huge explosions from mini nukes, and in the same time you don't want to be distracted by other players, you absolutely can, as that will affect everyone else but your own. Therefore, it's an amazing setting. That alone, I was waiting so long for, and we are finally getting it. 2 biggest changes, in my opinion. This is one of them. Other players' explosion scale, and second, that will be able to customize unique weapons, and that applies to armor too. You'll be able to customize unique armor as well with its unique effects, like they do come through the similar rework as all the weapons. They do have special icon now for a special effect, and all other stuff can be customized as you please. So those are like the biggest changes that applies to all this stuff, and it's so good. It's so good. I cannot wait for this patch to drop live. We'll be also so busy customizing our favorite weaponry, updating builds with all the new possibilities, and finally will not be annoyed by other players using huge explosive weapons. As there are settings for that now. Let me know which particular change you are the most excited about. There is one more I'm not showcasing now, but in regards to seasonal events, there will be so much more to do, like all the slasher side quest stuff, events, and yeah. I'm not showcasing But to that is you may consider that spoilers of the slasher. The slasher is coming. That's a series of activities, seasonal activities around events and so on that provides more content. So this is awesome as well. And that being said, thank you all for watching and see you all in the next one.
We've got a pretty busy week ahead in Fallout 76. Bethesda has already made a live server change that should make infestations much more enjoyable. The summer sock hop mini season is about to start. The double score is almost here, and the Purveyor special pick is returning. Rock's Knock Weekend is right around the corner. Let's get into everything you need to know. First up, Bethesda has reduced the health of the infestation bosses on the live servers. If you've been avoiding these events because the bosses felt like giant bullet sponges, now's a great time to jump back in. The fights should be much more manageable while still offering a challenge. Next up, the Summer Sock Hop mini season comes to an end tomorrow, Tuesday at 12 p.m. noon Eastern Standard Time. If you still have rewards to claim, make sure you do it before the reset because once the mini season ends, those rewards will be gone. Also, don't forget that Smiley's Gold has already reset at the Wayward. If you purchase your weekly Gold Bullion from Smiley, you can head over there right now and go ahead and grab this week's Gold Bullion. Tuesday also brings the weekly Atomic Shop refresh along with new daily and weekly challenges. As always, once Bethesda polishes the official Atomic Shop article, I'll have my limited time weekly sale video covering every deal, what's worth buying, what's returning, and what you can skip to save your atoms. Moving into Thursday, we'll be getting double score, making it a great opportunity to make progress through Season 25. We'll also be getting the Purveyor special pick, giving everyone another opportunity to roll for legendary gear. Then on Friday, Rock's Knock Weekend officially begins, while Foster continues through August 11th, giving everyone another chance to earn masks, plans, and other event rewards before the event ends. And while you're running Foshnock, here's a quick tip. Be careful of the 2 mega slots that can spawn during the event. A lot of players are missing them without even realizing it. If you're wondering what I'm talking about or why they're important, I've already made a dedicated video explaining everything in detail, so be sure to check that out after this one. That's everything happening this week in Fallout 76. If I missed anything, let everyone know down in the comments below. And if you found today's video helpful, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you already haven't, and like always, thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day, take it easy, and I'll see you in that next video.
Nic si nepovedal, Pitches. Čo to bol za podmas? Čo to bol za podmas?
Hey guys, I want to make a video going over my thoughts of the current state of Exile 1 in 3.29. Fair warning, this is probably going to be a very lengthy video, but I wrote down all my thoughts, and there's quite a lot to talk about here. I really want to go over everything about Path of Exile 1 in terms of endgame farming, loot, items, just everything I feel like the game is currently lacking. 8.29, in my opinion, is personally just one of the most boring leagues I've played because for a player like me, there really is nothing to do in the end game. We are just doing the same farms from last league, but worse. And yeah, so I want to talk about everything in this video. So, you know, if you want to listen for like probably 20, maybe 30 minutes, hey, feel free to. If not, I mean, maybe I could shield you at the end. But yeah, let's go over everything about Path of Exile. So this is my long feedback / rant video. Why T.29 endgame is severely lacking and the loot issue. So both go on to loot and also endgame here. But first things first, we'll start with part one. There's 3 parts in this video. Part one right here is going to be about tile loot and ground loot. So first things first, I probably need to explain what is tile loot. It's terminology that is just kind of made up by the community, so you may not be familiar with it. Tile loot is just guaranteed rewards. Some are scalable, some are not. Pretty much everything that isn't the random loot from a monster is considered tile loot in this game. So for example, Essence. Essence is an unscalable tile loot for juicing, as quant, rarity, and pack size does not change anything about how many essence you get. You can run an essence map purely white, magic or rare, corrupted does not matter. It's the same essence every single map. While Harvest is an example of scalable tile loot, right? You get more on your map, you get more from your altar, you get more Harvest juice in return. But both of these mechanics are giving you a predictable and guaranteed reward with low to no variance from run to run. Rip Awaken Harvest, that was a little bit of variance. But yeah, that is what tile loot is. It's just essentially guaranteed, predictable rewards, and there's not that much you can do to usually scale it. And in some cases, you can't do anything to scale it. Also, to make it clear at the start of this video, there is nothing inherently wrong with tile loot. The issue is nowadays almost the entire game is tile loot. Even the recent Abyss change where they, quote unquote buffed it, they only buffed the tile loot portion, which was that of the boxes. The boxes now drop more scarabs and currency. And they let the ground loot Abyss in the third. They didn't touch it whatsoever, which was probably the main complaint of almost everyone doing Abyss. It was honestly completely just tone deaf from GEG, where they just didn't recognize the ground loot an issue at all from Abyss. Which from I saw from a lot of feedback, YouTube, Twitter, whatever, was the biggest feedback, was that Abyss didn't drop loot. Like sure, the chests were bad and they are better now, but the main issue is the monsters don't drop loot. They have some hidden negative 90% quant multiplier for some reason. For example, real quick, here was a picture that I took from doing Abyss. This map had like 200% more quant, 200% more currency, like 80% pack size or whatever. And this was no loot filter. On an Abyssal Spire that spawned like, 100 plus monsters in a single spot. And yeah, it drops like 6 white items, 1 rare, and like a couple magic items. It was honestly just completely no words could you describe how I felt at this moment of like, what even is this? What even happened to this game? How is this even in the game, right? I won't worry about this too much, but yeah, like Abyss ground loot is just terrible. So first, let's go over all the tile loot farms. So all tile loot farms, at least as far as I was able to remember, Ultimatum, Nightmare Boss Rush, all Uber bosses in the game, all bosses in general, to be honest. Mercs, Merc and Go farm, Essence, Beast, Heist, Strong bosses, Abyss, the Abyss boxes, right? That's the main farm. Harvest, Delve, Delirium, Simulacrum, Destructive Play, Sanctum, Ritual, Settlers, Altars, Alva, and of course the new mechanic, All Flame. Half and half farms, as in these are like half tile loot farms and half ground loot farms. You have stuff like Legion. Legion have the generals and chests, which have guaranteed rewards, but you can also, juice the Legion rare monsters to a decent amount where they actually do drop quite a bit of uniques. Expedition, same deal. You have the guaranteed tile loot rewards, and you also have stuff like Tujon, but you can also juice Expedition to where it drops a decent amount of ground loot. The same for Beyond and Breach, where, Breach is like pure ground loot inside the map, but you also do get a lot of guaranteed tile loot from the tree itself. And then are guaranteed dedicated ground loot farms, where these are like, pure ground loot, stuff like Rogue Exiles, which are nowadays pretty much completely irrelevant, just destroy and move from the game, div card farming, and map farm. So I might have missed 1 or 2 farms here, but hopefully you understand my point. The vast majority of the game is unfortunately just tile loot. And like I said, there's nothing inherently wrong with tile loot, but the whole game is tile loot. We are far gone from kill monsters and get loot, and now just click boxes and get loot. You want scarabs, you click boxes. You want currency, you click boxes. You want gear, you click the tree. Like, it's just everything is just tile loot. The amount of items you find from the ground is just completely irrelevant to what you actually get from these guaranteed rewards. So what makes tile loot not as fun to the extent of a player like me, and why do I care so much about this? So for me, the randomness of loot in ARPGs is the core part of every game in this genre. All the way back from like Diablo 2, even Diablo 1, right? Just the core part, you kill a monster and you can drop a sick item. That is the core part of every single ARPG to exist. It brings extremely exciting moments. It makes every map PoE more fun to run. You'll just have this random loot generator, never knowing what you're going to drop from map to map. It's just really exciting in the game. For me, there is no as fun as a farm as a ground loot farm, because every map is just essentially different in terms of what you get. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with tile loot, but farming essence and knowing roughly how much I'm getting each and every single map, the same value essence every single map, it's just not that exciting than doing a raw ground loot farm and having the chance of these massive jackpots. So for example, let's say we're doing a breach farm. This is nameless from last league. This league, it's way less good. But here are realistic drops that you could get from the breach farm. Headhunter, Mageblood, Intercourse blocks, Divines, Fraction Ores, Battle Boxes, the keys, divination cards, like Apothecary Scry, for example. And of course, Mir Kalandra. And on top of that, I didn't listen to here, but like a ton of uniques, right? Different tier 1 uniques, pick one unique off the ground, is corrupt in it. All these different type of random exciting moments that exist from map to map in this form. Compared to, say, Essence, for example, you're just dropping Essence. Maybe at most, it is a very popular Essence. That might be one that might be worth like 1 Divine. Currently, it's not true, but sometimes that does happen. There's high demand going around. And the chance for Divine is so low because you're mostly just running these maps as a map scour, like a white map. The reason for that is that you want to make it as easy as possible because Essence don't spell map modifiers, so why even add any difficulty into your map? It literally just promotes easy gameplay. So that is the massive difference here, right? You're farming Essence, you're only going to get Essence every single map. You probably won't drop a Divine. Like you might drop one here and there or something, but it's going to be pretty rare because you're doing 0 quant maps. Your entire loot is just predictable, which some players like, and hey, that's fine, right? Some people like predictable farms, still like getting consistent, 10D an hour, and they're not getting 10D every single hour with no variance. That is completely fine, but you can see why I might prefer, or other people might prefer, the Breach farm over the Essence farm, because it has these very high exciting moments. And it'll keep players like me, play for weeks, if not months, in a very good league. That high, that dopamine you get from these drops just don't exist in the Essence farm. Having a ton of different jackpot drops just makes farming a lot more enjoyable. Like I said, the core of it is enter a map and not knowing what you're coming out with is the most addicting part of this game, and I cannot really stress that enough. It really just makes every single map exciting. It also has another issue, and that is the difficulty issue. So the other issue is oftentimes you don't even get rewarded for making your map harder. This is also a big issue with tile loot. And it's just the best thing to do is to make your map as easy as possible, to do the map as quick as possible for your guaranteed tile loot rewards. Both Ultimate and Mercs are currently problematic with this. They promote Scour Tier 16 gameplay, as in you take a map from your stash, you scour it and you just run it like this with 0 map modifiers. And they're both extremely lucrative. They are high-end farms. Ultimatum is one of the best farms in the entire game, and so is Merc and Go. Merc and Go, you get more uniques from that farm than a max rarity, max juice breach map, which in my opinion is just completely backwards. A pure Scour Tier 16 map should not be given more uniques than a full rarity character in a max juice map. It just doesn't really make sense. Yeah, in my opinion, you should not be rewarded for doing this. At least at the top end, running scoured maps should not be a thing. They should give better rewards in 6 or 8 modded maps. Why does a harder map not give better loot? It just really does not make sense. How does one of the best unique farms in the game require a map that has 0 rarity and 0 quant? I really feel like that gameplay just should not be promoted whatsoever. To me, it just does not make any logical sense whatsoever. Now, let's talk about the ground loot issue. So the other massive issue right now is how much effort it actually takes to start dropping meaningful ground loot. You need an insane amount of multipliers, and honestly, this lead mechanic is a great highlight of that. The lead mechanic, you need to get an insane amount of multipliers, yet the rares still drop nothing. You have Pantheon Touch, like 10 Golden Lanterns, 300% player quant, 80% player rarity. You can get the rare monsters cannot drop equipment, which is an extremely powerful modifier. Increase number of rares, possessed rares, wild wisp rares, etc., etc., etc. You can stack every single multiplier the mechanic has, and it's still as valuable than just open the boxes and getting the guaranteed tile rewards and clicking your message in the bottle. Juicing your rares in the mechanic is completely irrelevant, and it's honestly just sad. It really shows how messed up the loot is in this game, where you can have 10 different multipliers, and it's still not enough to make the rares drop any meaningful amount of loot. At the core part of this game, the loot really is just messed up right now. And on top of that, when they buffed the lead mechanic, the buff they did was make you get even more scares and more guaranteed credits in the chest. They just buffed the tile loot of this farm, which is very unfortunate because pretty much the whole lead mechanic promotes juice in the rares, but juice in the rares does absolutely nothing. So one question I want to ask you is, ask yourself this. When you kill a rare monster in Exile 1, do you honestly expect any type of loot? I feel like most people will probably answer no. If I go to a map right now and I kill a rare monster, I literally expect nothing. And that is a massive issue. You should be expecting loot from rares. That's part of the core game of any RPG. Kill monsters, get loot. If you're not even expecting loot from the rare monsters inside the map, then something is terribly wrong at the fundamental level inside the game. Compare this to Exile 2, where every rare you kill feels like it has a chance to drop something that's actually worth picking up. The difference is just massive. If you played 0.5 in PoE2, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. Every single rare in that game actually feels meaningful and impactful to kill, and unfortunately, I cannot say the same about PoE1. PoE1, I literally just do not expect to lose my rares anymore. Even in my high choose 200% more quant, 200% more currency maps, I do not expect my rares to drop loot, which I just feel like is a very fundamental issue part of the game right now that really needs to be looked at and fixed. And the reason why this is simple, like I was saying, monsters do not drop loot unless you add like 10 different multipliers together. For example, to make monsters drop loot, you need to like add delirium onto your map, make sure it's 6 to 8 modded, get more currency, get higher pack size, get higher iron rarity, get higher item quantity, then also get your atlas tree, grab every single quant node on the atlas tree, grab every single map effect on the atlas tree, grab even more increased monsters, increased rares, and everything, right? And then they start dropping loot. But without all this, they don't drop anything. In my opinion, multipliers on the high end need to go, and the base ground loot needs to go way up. Stuff like more currency, more scarabs, more map multipliers, more pack size in the tier 6.5s, they just shouldn't exist. They should be removed from the game, and in exchange, the base loot needs to be buffed to make up for that. So stuff like this, where it has like 160% more currency, in my opinion, this just shouldn't exist. We shouldn't need this mod in the game to actually drop a meaningful amount of currency. This should be removed and just be baked into the core game, buff the ground loop, and overall it will buff everyone's loot. To me, it just feels so insane that I need to roll 200% more currency with 200% more quant on my map, after map modifiers, of course, with a 1D plus investment in scarabs in the map, just to have a chance to drop a single divine. Not even guaranteed. I recently did a whole investment breach setup where I was spending 2.2 divines per map, and on average, I was dropping 1 raw divine back per map. Of course, I was still making profit, so overall loot in the map is more than 1 divine. It was like 4 or 5 divines per map, but to only get a single raw divine back with that many multipliers and that much investment is just kind of insane to me. Like, you need so much just to make monsters start dropping loot. On top of that, you add like 8,000 monsters to your map. And it's just like, man, like, what is wrong with the base loot of this game if we need all these multipliers just to start dropping stuff? All right, on to part 2, the lack of aspirational farms and consistent removal of endgame farms. So another massive perch in endgame, especially in 3.29, is the constant removal of farming strats. Almost anything that is good is immediately removed in the next patch, not balanced, but just removed. Or it is quote unquote balanced, it's balanced to the point where it's pointless. So what has been removed in the past 2 to 3 years in terms of endgame farming? Titanic Blight, massively nerfed. Titanic Exile is pretty much destroyed out of the game. It really does not drop anything anymore. The 4x riskier farms are back in 3.26. Evo Shrine Alba back in 3.26. Harbingers just moved from the game. Abyss Torch just moved from the game. Awakened Harvest moved from the game. Kumek Oriflame heavily nerfed to the point, at least in my opinion, it isn't really worth doing. Old dip card farm, stuff like Crimson Temple and all that, where, it's sure is a current dip card farm, but pretty much just entirely about dip cards. The old school dip card farm was more about like the global loot, like dropping uniques, currency, and dip cards. And meat sacks, once again, still in the game, but once again, just not really worth doing at all. And so the simple question is why? Who benefits from farms being completely removed from the game over being properly balanced? Because I don't understand why they're removing farms. It's just removing fun for no good reason outside of not wanting to use time to balance it. For example, why are harbingers still removed from the game? While it's not a farm I do myself, I do enjoy harvests, but it's not really a farm I do. Thousands of people loved this farm, and it was only removed because it was going to be reworked in the future. But once again, why? Breach didn't have to get removed from the game for the rework, so why are we left without harbingers for multiple patches? Like, who does this benefit? I personally just don't understand. It's one of the things I would like GG to answer, is just why are we actively removing content from the game? Especially since Exile 1 nowadays has a pretty small dev team. They don't have time to add these big patches with, multiple big farms in the game anymore. It is a small dev team, so like, actually removing stuff in the game, in my opinion, it's really, really bad. It's going to take a long time to get this stuff back in the game. We're still waiting on harbingers to come back, which they did say are coming back, but we don't even know when, right? So it's just like, yeah, I really feel like they should avoid actually moving stuff in the game, especially since, nowadays there are a bit slower edits of the game, except Poe 1 does have that smaller dev team. In my opinion, like I said, GD needs to stop acting across the game and just start properly balancing them. If they think it's too strong, we'll just nerf it, right? And it doesn't have to be a big nerf. Don't nerf it by like 8%, like with Exiles, nerf it by like 20%. If it's still strong next patch, nerf it by another 20%, right? Like, why does it need to be answered immediately in the next patch? Just slowly nerf stuff and balance up over time, and we can end up with a really diverse and fun endgame in like a year or two. We just have like 5, 6, 8, 9 farms that are all relatively equal and balanced to each other. That would be such an amazing endgame. Like imagine it currently at 3.29, if we had both Mirage and all the farms from 3.26. If we had like Abyss Hordes, if we had Harbingers, if we had Titanic Blade, Titanic Exiles, 4X Risk Scarabs, Awakened Harvest, Comac All Flame, and they were all relatively balanced within each other. Like man, that would be such an insane, fun endgame to have. But instead of properly balancing them, they just removed them. Also, as someone who doesn't like tile loot, like I said, I really don't like tile loot. I prefer the ground loot farms. I still vastly enjoy doing Awakened Harvest every single league. I was doing it in Settlers League, I did it in some 3.26, and I forgot I was moving to 3.27 or 3.28. By the way, I loved it until it got removed. It was a really enjoyable gambler strat. It just randomly got removed from the game. Fun removed for seemingly no reason. If they felt like it was too good, then just properly balance it. GG, I feel like, has this really bad habit. Instead of, balancing stuff in the game, they just remove it. Kinetic Ring is probably a really good example about this. If you know what that skill is and what happened before patch, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Instead of probably balancing it, they just removed it from the game, and unfortunately, it is still removed from the game. The next is need aspirational endgame. You'll also notice that most of these farms were the aspirational endgame farms. Farms where you really needed some high-end gear to do. They were very, very hard to do. You needed really good gear to do them properly or efficiently. Nowadays, our hardest map mechanic is probably like 100% Deli Breach, which isn't even that rewarding compared to 60 to 8% Deli, and it's vastly easier compared to these previous farms I mentioned. Of course, there is stuff like Run Gauntlet, but in my opinion, it's kind of a different bracket because, it more so requires a specialized build, and also the same issue where you're just running Scour tier 60 maps and not really doing like the hard juice 0.5 map modifiers. We really need farms to chase for, something to build our characters towards, something to look forward to as the league goes on. I feel like this is pretty important for long-term players. Sure, the average Joe, the average Bob, whatever, it probably does not matter all that much too. But for people that play for like a month, 2 months of the leagues, I feel like these farms are extremely important to actually give them something to look forward to actually give them something to build their character towards to. It doesn't have to be game breaking, it doesn't have to be some insane, 100 to find an hour farm, but it has to be competitive and it has to be worthwhile, right? Like if I'm going to invest 2 divines into a map and multiple mirrors in my character, the farm has to be at least like, up there, top tier to make it worthwhile. Almost nothing is as satisfying in an RPG than slowly building your character to handle harder and harder content. And that is something that is desperately missing in the map and content currently. Like sure, we do have Valdos and we do have Delve, but those are like completely different game modes and how you build them and how you approach gameplay. And of course, Valdos is just technically another tile loot farm, and so is Delve as well. Yeah, I really just want this hard mapping content. Mapping for me is the main reason why I play PoE. It's the most fun part of PoE for me, and it's something the game is heavily lacking right now, is that end-game aspirational hard content and maps. For me, now a lot of players of ARPGs do lose a lot of value and fun once your character is complete. And if the end game is easy, like it is right now, your character feels complete way faster, which means you also finish the league way faster and stop playing faster than before. This is what it currently feels like at 3.29. I feel like my character was done like day 3 of the league and there really wasn't much else to do. I was doing like 60% daily, like, day 3 breach. I thought, yep, that's pretty much the only farm in the game and my character's pretty much done. And it's just like really hard to find motivation to like keep playing the game because just nothing is to chase for. Yeah, the game just really needs actual aspirational endgame inside of maps that feel rewarding, feel challenging, and most importantly, also scale up map modifiers. Like stuff like Merc and Goat and just doing scoured maps is really lame and honestly just quite boring. And I really want challenging map content that rewards pushing your character to the maps. Now lastly, which is pretty short, we're at part 3 here, but the removal of endgame chase items. So lastly, I just want to talk about the removal of endgame chase items, namely synth items. So first of all, while I do believe synth beast rolling was pretty bad for the game, I don't think it was healthy for the game, and had to be changed or removed. I think completely removing synth items, just going totally nuclear here, go from triple synth items to 0, was a massive mistake. Surely there could have been a middle ground here or something, right? Instead of grinding for a mere one, just grind for like 100 divine one and you're done. There's no upgrade select, which in my opinion is pretty unfortunate and pretty boring. I really want items to chase for here. This vastly shortens how much time it takes to complete a character, especially like the high-end players or whatever. And if you don't even need a mere one in the current game, which you definitely don't, having that optional chase in the game add a lot of value for long-term players. So for example, this is my current wine, and yeah, this is pretty much just GG, best in slot. Like sure, I could have locked this and go for tier 1 multi, but that's really about it. There's not really much else to prove in this one, and a one like this costs around like 70 to 100 divines to make. And I have nothing to chase for my weapon slot. It's really just a big disappointment, because I really want stuff to grind for, and how less to grind for it is going to be less fun. I know people might say, oh, synths are now the corrupts, right? Corrupts are now the synth implicits, but it's not even close to the same thing. Like, no one is going to make 150 wands that cost 50 to 100 divines each to try to hit explode in your wand. That is just completely unreasonable. Like 10 years for a single synth explode. It's just not realistic, and you aren't going to use 150 logs as well to hit explode in your wand. Like in my opinion, it just may as well not exist for rare items. It's only a chase for unique items, because you can spam corrupt them. And I think having those for uniques is really, really good, but rares need something in return. In my opinion, one thing they could have done is synth should have stayed in the game, and it should have been like 1 and 2 implicits max, maybe just 1 implicit max, but add it as a global loot drop, and you can't reroll it beast. Instead of beast rerolling, it's just a random ground loot on the ground. This would have added a real value to ground loot and still allow these rare chase items to exist in the same fashion. Either way, I think completely removing it was just a massive mistake if there's nothing to replace it with. I'm down for another mechanic or system that could add, expensive items in the future. For example, I feel like PoE2 currently has a good system for this, where they have +1 socket items and quality basis. Right now, PoE1 only has quality basis, and quality fallout items don't even matter. The +1 socket and every single item in PoE2 does heavily matter. So just having something like similar to that in the same vein of PoE2 +1 socket would go a long way. Just add an extra chase to go with, right? But yeah, for rare items, there really is just nothing right now outside of unrealistic corrupts, which, yeah, like I said, it's just not realistic to really go for like 150 wands just to hit explosive ones. I really need like a realistic end game chase rares to actually go for. We went from these multi-mirror wands to 100 divine wands. Surely we can find a good middle ground here. But anyway, that is my whole, end game rant, end game feedback, whatever you want to call it. I just deeply care about the end game farms in this game. It's what I like the most about PoE. And it's just really sad to see the current state of 3.29. It's just one of the most boring end games I've played. It really is just not that much to do. We're just playing a worse version of Mirage League for the most part, right? Sure, there's better crafting. Offline crafting is really cool. It's one of my favorite crafting mechanics, but what am I crafting all this gear for in the first place, right? The only thing Offlame did is progress my character faster, and now I just have less to do because they removed endgame farms over and over and over again. On this farm breach now, as I did last league, except it's worse. So yeah, I really hope GG can address some of these concerns and really add actual real end game actual farms into the game, but also looking at ground loot and potentially adding in back some more chase rares in the future. Either way, that is my entire video. Hope you enjoyed, and leave whatever stuff you want below. I'll try to answer comments as I usually do. But yeah, that is about it.
Hello, honey beast. See you later, honey beast. Fuck. My region, goddamn. Okay, it's fine. Toto je Pavlo. Tá liga skončila Power Exile. Pripravíme sa na ďalšiu, ktorá bude o pôlka plus minus. Uvidíme, kedy bude ďalšia liga. Level. On to postavil celú schizofréniu. To podrž. On postavil celú schizofréniu. Oops. Oops. Ja som dotočím všetky už, nie? A ešte mi chýba posledná jedna. Ne, tej mi chýba, tej mi chýba. No, svá.
Would you like to see the greatest horse in Calfield?
Viem, či to niekto kúpi. Neexistuje, že to niekto kúpi. Neexistuje, že to niekto kúpi. Neexistuje. Это супер. А, ты там 34 плюс. Мама, ты 472. Pozor, ты 69. Это забаговано, чё? И зада так.
Start up here for your next kill.
А. Ну, ох.
Get it over with. Come now, Ben. Thank heavens! Something that's not trying to kill me for once. Don't tell me Edna sent you. This is all her fault, you know. She knows how bees interfere with my efficiency. Hands I have aplenty, but I take your meaning. You see, I've been trying to collect honey from these hives, but the bees, they aren't too keen on sharing. If you don't mind distracting them a bit, I could pay you for your time. Let's get started, shall we? This makes nightmares feel like fairy tales. Not that I have nightmares. This makes nightmares feel like fairy tales. Not that I have nightmares. These creatures could use a lesson in manners. Oh dear. Is that buzzing? Well, that's one down. On to the next. These creatures could use a lesson in manners. Mother Nature can Why honey? Why not sticks or rocks? Don't tell me they're back already. One more to go. Mother Nature concocts the rudest beasts. Simply hideous. Just the thought of getting stung gives me a terrible feeling. There's plenty of honey to go around. That will leave a mark. Harvest complete. And all systems still in the green. Not a bad payday for either of us, I'd say.
I agree. I agree. This shit is bugged though. Fuck. Teoreticky dodali som nejakú špeciálnu vylizovač. Niekoľko ich zrazu je plná riť. Ah, fuck. Oh my fucking god. Okay. No, toto vypneme. Jdeme vyněst smeti. Oh shit, look at this.
Hey guys, it's Cosby, Slippery Jim mates. I've been farming betrayal. This isn't in the video. This isn't what I'm here for. I've been farming betrayal. I've done 772 maps this league, and all of them were betrayal because I'm trying to farm the Mage Blood card because people said, hey, the Mage Blood card is really common, and those people are liars because in the past you'd farm 772 maps worth of betrayal and you would have a Mage Blood by now, but I only have 2 cards. But 2 is more than most people on. The people who do this are in SSF. That was the SSF global that I was in. These people, they farm it because they hate themselves, and I'm farming it because I hate myself. And to have a break from it, to have a break from hating myself, the title says I'm going to open 100 messages in the bottle because I don't really give a shit. I do give a shit about the farm. If it was easier, I would have loved to have gotten numbers, but it seems like it's self nerfed. I'm talking about the it that fled farming. If it wasn't nerfed, I would farm it, and I would farm 10 Mage Bloods, and I would get all the data, but it seems like it's really rare. So instead of that, we're going to get a Mage Blood in these bottles, because all I care about is the Mage Blood at this point. If it was easy to farm, I'd get the data and care about the data, but my hand is killing me, and let's just open the bottles. Okay, these were all self-farmed. I had them all by day 4, but I was like, I'll just farm 1,000 maps so I can tell you about the flood stuff. And I got to 773 maps, and I got my second card, and I'm like, wow, my hand hurts, and I want to quit. But that's a league setup for Jim. Hey, we're not even a weekend. I haven't started yet. Skip ahead if you're here for that. Some people are here for the rant, the talking sometimes. Previous leagues, it's been like a weekend and I haven't finished my atlas. So the fact that I've farmed 773 maps and 100 of these things is crazy. I mean, I haven't finished my atlas, but it doesn't matter because now it's in quadrants and and I'm working on 100 Kaderos. Anyway, I'm procrastinating long enough. Let's link. Do I link them in chats or do I just do them? Let's just do them. I don't want to spam people. Okay. Can I just do it like this? Oh, I can. Except it goes to there. Okay, 20 of them. A shit ring. 20 of them. A flask. Another flask. A thing. Shall I leave them in order? But I'm opening them in reverse order, so it's pretty confusing. A belt. 20 of them. An amulet. An amulet. Not a respite, but it's a grip. Yep, it's a grip. Ooh. Thunderstorm gems. Okay. Wow. You know, people have been linking divines. I kind of assumed that I would get at least one. Oh, okay. People have been linking like 7 divines. I kind of assumed that I would get at least 7. That stuff from up here. No. So we at least have the order of them. Wow, a ring. Wow, 20 of them. Wow, a ring. Wow, a belt. Wow, a garbage. Please have an high level. Nope. Wow, a garbage. Wow, actually pretty good. What's this one? 2 div. Whoa, I got it back to back, and then a belt, and then an amulet, and then cards. Oh, I opened the wrong order. That's fine, we'll just put this down there, and this one was opened here, so they're still in order. In reverse, ascending order, but this was backwards and then down from there. It doesn't matter, the order doesn't matter, Jim, the order doesn't matter. Okay. Thing. Can I control right click to make them, no? Can I? Wow, okay. I'm saddened by this because they're like 70 C each, and I don't want to do the math. Okay, 700 C, no. 7,000 C divided by, divs are like 150, I assume. 7,000 divided by 150, 46 div. I need to get 46 div to have made, oh no, this is definitely not worth it. What's the point of this? All right, I will probably pray I get a Mage Blood or something, but I haven't, and I don't think I will. But if you open 300 and you get a Mage Blood, that means you broke even, but I don't think I'm going to get it. Oh no, this is not looking good. Wow, 2 whole divines. Oh my god, I'm rich. An amulet. An inspired learning, which is worth 27C. Ring, which is worth nothing because it's a low roll. A lion's roar. A flask that's shit. Whoops. A ring that's shit. Some stack decks. A Biscos. Every 30 Biscos is 1 Mage Blood. Assuming the math is still the same, but it probably isn't. A belt. a Deodri's Damning, a Flask, a Ring, oh, Gloomfang, a Ring. You know, if you need rings, you should do this, but if you don't need rings, you should really just sell them. Amulet, Ring, Belt, Amulet, Ring, Flask, Belt, Cards, Flask, Amulet, Ring, One Divine, 20 cards, Belt, Ring, Ring. Look at this abomination. So I spent 42 div worth of stuff, and I made 4 div. I don't even, normally I would open those stack decks, but I don't even want to do that. I've done nothing. I've existence is pain, and now I've just a tab full of pain to prove it. Well, that was 100 things. Thanks for watching. Feel free to stop watching now, though, because it's only going to get worse. Anyway. God, I wish there was a quick way to do this. Three Divines, wow. Taste of Hate, wow. That Ring that's hard to get in SSF, wow. Actually pretty good. Okay, stack of 3, and then this can all go in like this. Nice. I'm just gonna fill this quad tab with bottle loot at this point, right? Wow, Barracks Respite. Wow. Okay. I don't know how many that is, but however many individual items there are is how many there is. How many it was, how many. Fuck this.
A tak je to divné. Jesus Christ. Dosadačka sa nechce povedať za hovno. No ešte tento zbiera tiež tieto sáčky. Fuck.
Clean up before you go.
How the fuck? How the fuck we don't have it? That's fucking bullshit. How the fuck we don't have it? Oh my fucking god. Oh fucking god. Okay. Okay.
Got some goods in from the car, have we? Aye.
Oh, give me this.
What was I doing? Welcome. Back to work.
Local?
Oh, fucking God. Worthless.
Engineer reporting. Phew.
Aye.
Engineer reporting.
Aye.
$33 000 za antenu. 88 000 dojechal, komu? Okej. 17 600. To 20% prídavok a 3D ani hovno. Dám 20 000 verziu. 4400. Ako popravde dosť jedno. Že som sa pomýlil. Ty kokoti, zase to skočilo neskoro. Jebovia. Jebovia kokocky. Zase to skončilo, tá štvorpaca šanca neskoro. Máme Zantinum.
Aye.
Šípneme ho sem. Koľko? 33 000.
I'll give him the word.
Wet.
We haven't got anything to disenchant.
Fuck off then. Grab a spiker. Who cares? Pasáčka. Ja som unavený z vás.
Patched it up all right. This'll be one for the songs.
Nič. Čo bol?
I must have time to gather my will.
Time's running out. Oh, Snake does it again.
Does it? Does it?
Say it plain.
Hail, Godslayer.
Fuck off. Doe als iemand het al niet volgt. Wat was man?
Yeah, what do you want? Ed? No!
Attention citizens, nuclear strike imminent. Please exit the area at your earliest convenience. Thank you for your cooperation.
Ah, fuck me. Zavodil som. Polečpaky. Môže mať dvakrát level sokydnutých gemov. Toto je ešte väčšia brutalita. Toto by dalo minionom ešte ďalšie 2 levely viacej. Toto by boli 32 levelové. Toto by boli 32 levelové zombie z tohoto. A. Popravde je to dosť jedno, že? Ale to som nevedel, že môže mať dvakrát sockety gems. Som nevedel. Môže mať dokonca dvakrát sockety gemy. To je brutalita. Môžeš mať plus 2 plus 2. To je sila, kámo. To dá 32 levelové zombie, ako tento, takýto, keď niekedy zoženiem, sú ešte silnejšie zombie, a teraz je to už jedno, lebo teraz už balím.
What's good? Action!
Ten poliatý kaktus, ja som zabudol na to. God damn it. God damn it. Zaujímavé, koľko vody som tam nalial a vôbec nič nevytieklo. Tu mám. Ale páni, báli ma. Snáď sa vidíme, ak vstanem. O, tak zatiaľ pohne.